Hello, my name is Sean Kim, and today I want to talk about the conflicts between protests in the NBA and members of the NBA community, and how it has resulted in a lot of backlash and conflict within society itself. So to start out, we want to start out with what is Black Lives Matters, because that's what a lot of the protests are being based on. And that essentially comes from the 2014 incident of Trayvon Martin. So during that time, a young unarmed black male individual was shot and killed by local authority. And as a result, a lot of political protests and a lot of backlash has occurred because of that. And that's where we see the hashtag Black Lives Matters movement come into play. And what's special about this is that all of it was catalyzed by essentially social media. Hashtags and uses of Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everything has been joining together to ultimately represent this movement that has been occurring recently. And I have a chart currently on my poster that displays the death of Freddie Gray and the tweets output per day, the tweet output that occurred during those times. And when you see Freddie Gray's incident being released to the public, when you see the indictment of the police officers that's minimal, and you see further events occurring, you see bursts in Twitter outputs. So what does that mean? It means that as a whole, our society is based on what is now the Black Lives Matters movement. We're being affected by it and we're being changed by it. Therefore, not only is that spreading into society, it's spreading into other aspects of our society. And that includes sports. So before we talk about the actual NBA and how the political protest is spreading there, we have to talk about the NFL. More specifically, we have to talk about kneeling in the NFL. And here I have a link to where Colin Kaepernick, a quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, has chosen to kneel. And he has chosen to express his right as an American citizen by protesting the police brutality in the nation. Although simple and although peaceful, it has caused a lot of uproar, especially regarding political beliefs, including the President of the United States, who has strongly opposed this kind of behavior, saying it's unpatriotic. And ultimately, it's caused a lot of backlash and a lot of issues on both sides for and against police brutality protests. And as a result, because of that coming in the sports world, because of society now coming into the sports world, recognizing that as a platform to speak up, the NBA has also followed suit. And that's where we see members such as Carmelo Anthony, LeBron James, and more members of the community speaking up. And I have those listed, their activities and their forms of protest linked in my poster. For example, Carmelo Anthony, he hosted an honest dialogue, a session where members of the community and police officers can just speak about the issues at hand and solutions to have it. And I have that video linked, as well as LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, and other NBA All-Stars opening up the ESPY Awards with a freedom speech, with a call to move speech. And it's very powerful to see the NBA players finally speaking up for what they believe in and standing up for their rights. Beyond that, other members of the NBA community, Charles Barkley, Thabo is a former Hawks player, who have suffered police brutality primarily and right in front of them, first-hand accounts, or are just sick and annoyed and tired of the lack of progress that's been happening. And that's where you see a lot of NBA protests starting to emerge, starting to speak up, because of that entrance into the football arena. And because of those protests, we see backlash. I have linked a Twitter from President Donald Trump regarding the Warriors not being allowed to visit the White House after their championship win. And he states, "Going to the White House is considered a great honor for a championship team. Stephen Curry is hesitating, therefore invitation is withdrawn." So during that time, the Warriors were unsure about whether they wanted to visit the White House. They wanted to make it firm that their political beliefs were for the protests against police brutality and for the kneeling, and therefore they were unsure about visiting the president due to his opposing beliefs. However, before they even had a chance to accept or deny, Trump immediately takes that opportunity away from them. So what does this show? It shows, to my final and last point, from here to there, where are we now and where do we hope to be? And it shows the clear distinction between the different communities and different understanding about what the issue is actually at hand. From a recent poll, a PBS NewsHour and Marist poll, I have it linked in my poster, we see a lot of information, especially the statistic that 58% of Americans feel that the racial inequality situation in the United States has gotten worse. Not better, but worse. In that same poll, we have another chart down here that actually signifies what white and African American people believe about the racial equality state. and that includes education, income, and more. And what's significant about this is that in all categories, African Americans feel that they do not have a majority of African Americans feel that they do not have the same opportunity as white Americans. However, white Americans, a majority of them believe that both of them have the same opportunities at hand. So what does that mean? There is a clear distinction between the white and black community in the United States. And as a result, we're having issues. We're not solving problems. We're just causing conflict. Ultimately, my goal for this project, for this poster, is to encourage others to stand up for their community, to take the actions necessary to solve the issues that are facing them and not try to cover it up, and to understand one another. Thank you.